Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So I have another good one for you today. We're going to talk about the time I accidentally ran DBOL. You heard me right. So I'm going to tell you the entire story about how this happened. But before we get into that, just a big shout out and thank you to everybody out there watching and supporting the channel. I cannot thank you enough. The likes, the shares, the subs. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, share, whatever you can do to help the channel grow. These just continuously feed the algorithm, and that allows us to grow, and then I can produce more and more content for you each and every day. Also, today's video is sponsored by letsgetchecked.com. They are an at-home blood testing company. Absolutely easy, seamless, and amazing. All you got to do is go to the website, order the test. There's so many options to choose from for men and women. Hormonal panels that are all over there in terms of options. Then they've got wellness, they've got sexual health, they've even got COVID testing. They have it all. All you got to do is go there, order the kit that you want, use the code Gemelli30 to save 30% off. If you want overnight shipping, you can select that. Otherwise, it's priority shipping. They're going to send you the kit. You're going to turn around, you're going to take the test, turn around, send it right back to them, register it online. All right. Then you've got doctors and nurses there to help you at all times. So anytime you got questions, they're always there to help you. You're going to get your results. They're going to be able to go over things with you. It's seamless and it's easy. Letsgetchecked.com. Gemelli30 will save you 30% off your entire order. So, all right. Here's the story. So, I have a video that I did prior to this one talking about my first cycle, which was actually a pro-hormone. But it's still technically a steroid, right? So, my first injectable cycle was gonna, and this is also not smart, by the way, especially on a second cycle. And the first time you run testosterone, as I preach, you would want to run test only. But, you know, this was my first time and I wanted to get greedy. And despite knowing what I should and shouldn't do, I still did it anyway. Hypocrite. All right? Admitted. But I was a lot younger and wouldn't do the same thing again, especially when I tell you the story. So what I thought I was running was test prop, mass prop, and Anavar. Already bad ideas to be running short esters on a first cycle, especially two of them. The frequency of the pinning on virgin muscles. I mean, everything I did here was wrong. Okay? Literally. 3 compounds. I mean, good Lord. All of it was wrong. And now, actually, that I think about this, I had run another pro-hormone cycle prior to this before I ran this. So I'm a little off here. So what I did first was I ran Helidrol, my first cycle, and then I talked about how I had incorporated formostanzol. Then I ran my first ever SARM cycle as a bridge. Then I ran my next cycle, this is so discombobulated. What I did was, I was very intrigued by Ultradrol, and there was a product that you stacked with it called Trenazone, which both were known to be very problematic on side effects. And it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. So as I was finishing the cycle, and I'd gained so much weight, it was like 25 pounds, and I was miserable. Even though it was dry and there was no fat, I was just absolutely miserable. And a lot of it was because of the harshness of, the Ultradrol is basically a Superdrol clone. There's a few changes there, but it's essentially the same thing. And the Trenazone was like a thing that you rubbed on or you sprayed it on and you rubbed it in, and it was like a pro-hormone type of Trenbolone. Not the same, but similar. Oh my gosh, it was just a fucking nightmare the way I felt. Anyway, what I'm getting at is then I decided to go ahead, after I had just toxicked myself completely out with the Ultradrol, let's go ahead and run Anavar and Proviron to try to cut this down and get some of this off. I mean, just stupid to stupider to just, what the fuck is wrong with you, stupid? And then I ran another SARM's bridge. And then I went to this cycle I'm talking about, which was the test prop, the mass prop, and the Anavar. My first injectable, I decided just, let's go. Let's fucking rock. Not smart. All right? Anyway, about a week into it, I mean, I am feeling good. Like, real good. And my strength is, it seems like it's too high. And I'm weighing myself, and look, I am the strictest eater, and I'm still doing all the cardio. I'm not trying to gain a ton of weight here. I'm trying to gain some more size, but I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible. And I'm like 10, 11, 12 days in, I'm watching the scale, and I'm going, man, this is crazy. Like, what is going on here? And I'm not bloated by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not as cut as I was, but I'm not. I don't see fat gain anywhere. But I'm like, dude, why does my weight on Masteron and Anavar and I wasn't running high doses of test. It was like 350 milligrams, 300. And my Masteron dose was like 700, and I thought I was doing about 60 milligrams of Anavar, when in reality, I think I was doing about 40 milligrams of DBOL. So I'm like, getting at that 2-week mark, and I'm up like 12 pounds, and I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense. And I'm talking to the person I got it from. There's a friend of, like, a good friend of mine, and he was actually making and producing them at the time. And I'm like, something's just doesn't make sense here. Well, I'm like, you know what, fuck it, man, let's roll. So I'm like 4 weeks in, and my bench has gone up so much. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. I'm up about 20 pounds, okay? And I'm looking big, especially for me that walks around at a certain, and I've stressed it 1,000 times that I like to keep a lower weight. And I have to really work hard to do it, but I do. And I'm just like, I'm not eating a ton either on the cycle at all for me to gain that kind of size. But like I've said in the past, I'm a hyper responder, but I'm definitely not eating enough to gain that kind of size either. And I'm just like, man, what is going on here? Well, I finally get through the cycle, great results throughout the cycle on PCT and whatever. Well, and then he comes and tells me, well, I had a girl that I thought I gave this Anavar to, and she had like the most worst experience, the side effects, it was a mess. Well, finally went and tested everything out, and it was fucking DBOL. Okay? Which commonly faked is Anavar, right? We all know that, but the fact that these weren't constantly tested, and I get it because it was like an at-home thing the guy was doing, and I was like, after that, I just disassociated myself. Never really spoke to him again. And there was no reason to, and this was so long ago, and I would never get anything from anybody like that I knew, or that wasn't like pharmaceutical type or high grade UGL, and it was just, wow. So anyway, my estrogen was extremely high, because even though I was running an aromatase inhibitor, I am extremely prone to estrogen. So I would have needed to be taking like aromasin every single day if I was to run DBOL, and I wasn't. And that was a telltale sign too to me, but I didn't test blood work right away. I'm, always wait till about mid-cycle, and I was running test props, so I was only going 10 to 12 weeks, but I still did and checked it, and it was through the roof, and things like that. And I thought, man, I was getting like terrible pumps, and which you can definitely get on Anavar, but it just, I was way too strong and way too big, way too fast, and I felt, because anybody that's run DBOL knows, one of the things about DBOL is it makes you feel like a god, and I felt way too good. It was just an accumulation of things. Anyway, yeah, so that is what happened, and now it would be very difficult to trick me in any sort of way. I know when I have the smallest, tiniest amount of water weight. I know my body well now, but you got to understand, at that time, I'm still learning. Didn't know enough about shit. Thought I did, for sure. But in actuality, did not. Admittedly. So, that was the experience, and I'm trying to remember if I left anything out, which I'm sure I probably did, but that's the gist of it. And these situations happen, unfortunately. So I think some of the things to stress here is, always be careful with what you're getting and what you're ingesting. Be monitoring your blood work and looking for signs on yourself, and know and understand your body and listen to your body, okay? These are all of the utmost importance that I could stress to you. And morals of the story, don't be a hypocrite. Yours truly. Practice what you preach. Learn. Really study. Listen to your head. Listen to your body. Stay monitoring on things. Don't spare expenses on PCTs or ancillaries, or like getting your blood work done. Don't spare expense. do all the right things necessary, and you can, even if these things happen, which is possible, even with the most reputable of reputable UGLs, it can still happen. And it could be not even close to their fault. That's why it's important to always, 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 no matter how much you trust somebody or where you're getting it from, still stay on top of all these things. So that's a lesson from this video for you. Anyway, that being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.